Hey, I'm Candace Scalese with CBS 21 News. We are going to have an awesome roundtable today with some very successful women who have started and run their own businesses from 25 to 31 years. So they are going to tell us stories of success, stories of failure, challenges, and overcoming. And one of the main topics today is why do small businesses fail? And in particular, what are some unique challenges for women who want to start and succeed with running a small business? So I'm going to go ahead, bring it in our panel today as we have this conversation. And we have Pamela Hill up here to your right. She has been running her signature staffing business for 27 years, staffing some of Pennsylvania's highly respected companies. Also joining us today is Monica Gold at the bottom here. She is the founder and the owner of Strategic Consulting Practices, 31 years as a management consulting firm that has grown to serve clients internationally. And we have Ann Dieter Gallagher here as well. She's the founder and owner of Dieter Gallagher Group, 25 years of public relations and marketing in a world where digital channels and messaging evolve by the second. As we know, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, this is the new way to talk, to communicate, and to get your information. So thank you all for joining me today.
Yeah, we love it. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So let's start off with this big question. We know that women-owned businesses can face certain challenges that other businesses don't. In particular, I know Ann sent me some really fascinating information that access to capital and growth funding can be extremely difficult. 40% of businesses fail within the first 3 years, 80% within the first 20, and all of you have made it past that. So first of all, congratulations on that success. But Ann, I want to start with you. Why is access to capital and growth funding such a challenge? Why is that such a big hurdle?
I don't know. And statistically, a lot of women-owned small businesses end up personally financing their business. So they're crowdsourcing, if you would, from family members, spouses, or whatever. I just found a statistic in 2024, only 36% of loan applications by women in the US were approved. So some tips and tricks. I know that Pamela, I feel like I'm with the icons here. These ladies are rock stars. Working locally when you're seeking financing and it's for a brand new business and they don't know, much of your story, you're actually pitching yourself as if you're, pitching yourself to venture capitalists. So consider it that way. And working with the community banks and the credit unions, I'm going to throw out there like members first, is really where you want to go first, because they know you, they've seen you in the community, and they can work with you when you're presenting your business idea. So instead of going to the larger, national or global institutions, absolutely start regionally in your backyard, and you have a much higher percentage of being financed.
Now, Pamela, you went to what was it, 7 different banks when you started out?
Yeah, I do have a little bit of a different background and different story to share. I went to 7 different banks. I had a business plan, business model all put together. Would contact each bank and go in and talk to a lender. And each time, 7 times, they thanked me and told me they liked what I had to say, but just didn't feel that as a single woman. And they didn't specifically say single woman, but I feel like I kind of got that message because I was single, because I was a woman, because this was something new. They weren't willing to kind of take a chance. But 28 years later, I am still with the same bank that gave me the opportunity in the very beginning. I've stayed loyal to them because they were loyal to me. And again, I agree with what Ann says. I think that when you are in a community, your best resources are your local resources, and you want to be able to partner with them. You want to be able to build those relationships and grow with each other as you go along.
Monica, what was it like for you starting out, taking that first step, figuring out how to get the ball rolling?
Well, I think Ann said it very well in terms of crowdsourcing. So it primarily came from me, my own personal finances. My parents helped me a little bit in the very beginning. 25 years ago or so, they gave me a little bit of a loan, and that really supported me. But other than that, it was really me. I had to fund it myself. There wasn't really anyone that understood where I was going or necessarily believed in what I was trying to do. And my company has really grown substantially since that time. And now we have a great banker. We have a couple of bankers that we work with. And I agree that local is the best because you build relationships with these folks.
Right.
You meet them at chamber meetings. You go to community events where they participate and where they sponsor. And they're really the best people to support you because they do see you in action. They see what you can do and what you provide to the community.
And they see you working too, so they know that if they're investing in you and giving you a loan or they're helping you out, that okay, this person is earning money to make sure they pay it back, right? It's not an end for them. When it comes to and Pamela, you mentioned this a little bit, gender bias in the marketplace. Have any of you experienced that in your 20 plus years in business, going up against men? It really in any part of running your business.
Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate to have a man mentor me for 7 years before I stepped out on my own. And because of his mentoring and the interest that he took in me, what he showed me, what he taught me, and also that he believed in me, I was able to be where I am right now. But I will say this, as a woman, I think anytime that we walk into a room for a meeting, for whatever, I think it's so important that we're prepared, that we should expect that we're maybe going to be held to a different standard because we are a woman. And unfortunately, it may not be right, but I think maybe that's kind of the world that we live in right now. So I think to me, it is kind of, I just look at it and I think, wow, I'm competitive. So I think I'm going to be over prepared. I'm going to know everything that I need to know before I step into that room. So if there is a bias, I can overcome that.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you, Pamela. All right. You talked about networking, getting on the local level with financing. Monica, how has networking been important in growing your business over the years?
It's been critically important. My first organization that I joined was our local Chamber of Commerce, the Harrisburg Regional Chamber of Commerce. And I met so many people there, including Anne. So Anne has been my friend, colleague, coworker, and we've done many things together for 25 years because I met her at a chamber event. I would have had the relationship with Anne if I didn't go to that particular event. And for years, I met other colleagues, people that I would work with, not just customers. I hired great employees from meeting them at chambers. So the chambers are really a great opportunity to network with other businesses, to meet colleagues, to meet coworkers. The other organizations for women that I think are really powerful are other women's organizations. So the United Way has a wonderful women's leadership network where I've met a lot of really successful women that are up and coming and doing different things. I belonged to CPAFE at one time, where it was Central Pennsylvania Association of Female Executives, where it's an organization that lifts other women up. So you're meeting other people that are in the same situation as you, maybe needing similar services, or maybe can complement you in some way. So I've used those networking, opportunities, in every aspect of my business, whether it be helping me to get financing, helping me to meet colleagues, getting new customers. It has really been a great source for me.
Sometimes just being in that room among other people who have a vision, who are going after something big, who are determined, just inspires you to be in the same room as them and to be around them. And how do we network? Because I think we talk about networking, we talk about making these connections, we talk about joining different clubs and organizations. Do you have any key advice? I know LinkedIn was a big thing for a long time. Is that still important? Is face-to-face more important?
Oh, no, absolutely LinkedIn. But okay. I think when one of your questions was, what's our superpower? Networking is absolutely the superpower. Mm-hmm. Putting yourself out there. If you're starting a business, you're a salesperson. That's just the reality. You can say, oh, I don't love sales, and we're in PR. So everything we do, is about building your brand and getting your story out. But I think that is one of the most critical aspects of introducing yourself to the marketplace, finding customers, finding, like Monica said, your support group, which in my case was almost all men in the very beginning, because those were, the reality is that most of the CEO positions are filled by men. Now we're doing a little better in 25 years, but we aren't anywhere near, where we should or could be. But that's like Pam said, that's the fact. That's the reality. So putting yourself out there, I would on purpose, if we're going in a big networking event, and then maybe if it was with commercial real estate, so you can figure there was 99% of the people in the room were men. So a female walks in a green leather blazer, that's a marketing advantage. There's all of them in their dark, black or blue suits, and a female comes in. So there's a flip side to, being the only one in the room. Like one of these is not like the other. So you go in there and use that to your advantage. Actually almost every single male on my unofficial board of advisors was more than happy to open doors, introduce other executives to me. People refer me in my business. And unlike Pamela and Monica, I had off-ramp for 15 years to raise sons. So it's a little bit, try going to the bank or going to the chamber when you're, just introducing yourself to the business world. But I think part of our inspiration, especially for these women I'm honored to be with, is what can be done regardless of where your starting point is. Like, don't take yourself out of this fabulous, wonderful, inspirational business journey as a woman before you even got in. And we all come from different, starting points, but networking, absolutely. And in person, I know Gen Z and the millennials, they love this device in your hand, but nothing, like Pamela and Monica, nothing trumps the in-person emotional connection. People do business with people, not machines, not iPhones, but that connection really has closed a lot of deals for all of us.
You can make a lasting impression. Pamela, in your years with your business with Signature Staffing, do you have years or moments that you remember where you were thinking to yourself, I don't know if this is going to work. This might fail.
I think absolutely more than I want to admit. But I think even in the beginning, with having the experience of going to 7 different banks and 7 banks telling me no, again, I'm competitive. So to me, that was a challenge. And I knew I had a dream. I knew I had a vision, and I knew it would work. So I tried to surround myself with people that weren't necessarily yes people, but people that were going to challenge me and to help me grow and to get me to where I needed to be. And those were people that when I looked at them and I think that's where I want to go. I want to be where they are. So I felt like they could help me and give me some of the mentoring and the answers that I was looking for in the experience. I think one thing I would say to any woman that wants to get involved in starting their own business is don't wait until everything's perfect.
Right.
Because it will never be perfect. It will never be perfect. But your dream, your vision, your passion, your grit and determination is better than anything, any money that you're ever going to be able to have that will get you where you want to go. You are your best advocate. You've got to be able to go out and do it for yourself, because if you wait for somebody else and if you wait till it's all perfect, it won't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
Monica, I understand you had to make a little bit of a switch recently. I think it was maybe with some funds. Can you take us on that journey a little bit?
Oh boy, yes. So, things shift and change in the marketplace as they always do. The marketplace is volatile, and, we may have a great opportunity to work with one client, and something happens with that client, and that is no longer available to us. So that happened to us in January when the federal government made some switches and changes in terms of policies. we also were affected by that. And, we could have, closed our doors and said, okay, forget it. We're not going to continue. But like Pamela, we have a lot of grit, we have a lot of resilience, and we have a lot of passion for what we do. And we know that the work that we do is great work. And how are we going to continue to do it? And how are we going to reinvent ourselves? So we have spent the last 9 months doing that. And so I'm really excited to share that starting November 4th, we're going to be releasing a proprietary organizational assessment tool that will help organizations pinpoint how they can be better, how they can be healthier. And so this is a new thing for us. I mean, we've been doing a lot of organizational development work for 30 years, but we have actually created our own tools and our own proprietary mechanisms to support our business growth. And we're excited because we think this is really going to support a lot of organizations to be healthier, to be able to invite women in and other folks into the organization to be successful.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that comes out of, I know that growth sometimes happens in the most dire of times, right? When we feel like we are at our wit's end and all you can go is up. So you figure out how to get there. This is a look at the Strategic Consulting Partners website as well. This is Monica's business that she founded and owns right now and runs. So if you want to check that out, we'll put that on our website on cbs21.com too. And you were talking about, you took 15 years off, you raised 3 sons, and then you said, I want to go back to work, but I don't want just a job. I want to start my own business. What was that journey like for you? How did you decide that's what you wanted to do and get started?
Well, I think ignorance is bliss. And
yeah,
I think like Monica said, those of us who really thrive on independence, there are so many opportunities in starting your own business. I didn't know about any of them until I started on the journey, but you realize quickly, nobody's coming to save you. Like Monica just said about the federal, I mean, the landscape from 25 years ago to today is entirely different. But there's opportunity in that. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And when I went to the bank at age 40, and got an executive line of credit, they're like, okay, where were you the last 15 years? What exactly were you doing? And so you learn your story and you pitch yourself and you say, this is why you should invest in me. I think for young moms now, the resources you have and the remote capabilities, the opportunities are endless to them starting a business. And like Monica, the first thing I did was walk into the West Shore Chamber. And I felt like, here I am. How do you do business? I'm here to do it.
Yeah.
But I remember those days. I am still a passionate member of the West Shore Chamber and the Harrisburg Chamber. And they were a tremendous help in opening up a network to me. But we're all competitive. We don't like to be told no. And if the answer is no, kind of like Pamela, I just knocked on other doors. Like, okay. And in conversations, I serve on Shippensburg University's College of Business Board. And we try to tell the students a no today isn't a no tomorrow. Like, make your path. No one's coming to make your path for you. And there are so many amazing people to support. Like, look on this panel today. All of us have helped each other, and I'm inspired by them and other women, like seeing their opportunities. And the young moms inspire me. You guys have all the access to these digital tools. You end up teaching us about AI. And I think our benefit is the collective wisdom of experience. We can tell you what setbacks to ignore. Don't go this way. This way.
For sure.
Have you all, and I'm sure you have, as your business journey has grown throughout the years, encountered other women or men whose businesses have failed? And did you learn anything from those failures? You go ahead, Pamela.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm shaking your head. I know sometimes it's open-ended, but
but I do. I mean, I agree with you 100%. And I think being the type of business that I am constantly looking at other companies and helping with their staffing needs. And in the beginning, when I first started, I remember thinking if a company closed, I remember thinking, wow, the economy must have done that, or there wasn't a need for their product or their service or whatever. But so many times when companies run into rough spots or downsize or whatever, so many times that is part of the management. It's part of the company itself, not necessarily the economy, which is what I thought in the very beginning. I think as a company, and I look back at my journey in 28 years, what worked for me 28 years ago is not working for me right now. And if I had stayed in that same lane, I wouldn't be here. I think being able to pivot with whatever is happening in your market, whatever is happening with your clients, with my clients, I needed to adapt to that. And I think technology is a big, big part of everything that we do. And as women, sometimes we think technology, wow, that's a man's world. We shouldn't be involved in that. But listen, without technology, none of us would be here where we are. So finding what's happening with technology and being able to use it, learn about it, and being able to use it and then pass that along is a big part of it.
Yeah, certainly. Do Anne or Monica, do you want to add anything to that?
I would also say it is really critically important to believe in yourself, your mission, your vision, and your personal purpose, because that's what gives you strength every day when failures are all around you, or maybe you're even experiencing a failure at that moment, right? So you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your product and what you are doing and what you can bring to the marketplace. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else buy your services, right?
Exactly.
So it's really critical that we don't lose hope, and that we don't lose, our own self-confidence, even though things are trying to rock our world, right? And so sometimes as women, we we'll take those things to heart and take it personally and say, well, maybe I'm not good enough. And, we all have those moments and those days where we feel that way. But at the end of the day, reach out to another woman like Anne or like Pamela, who has been successful, and get that little boost, because you need it at times, because sometimes things are rough. It's not the easiest thing to start your own business, but it can be extremely rewarding if you do it well.
I've been, just reading over the statistics and everything. I'm like, wow, if you're going to start a business, you better want to start it, because the failure rate is high.
Right. I know.
And small owned businesses, especially in this digital age when Amazon and everything else is at your fingertips. Right. So if you're providing a service, more power to you. And you were going to add something on that last note.
Well, I'll pivot to what you just said when you're talking about, one of your questions was why buy local when you can do Amazon?
Yep.
And, Amazon has its own sustainability challenges. If we really, want to go deep in the environment, we don't want all the tractor trailers, bringing our things. But if you look around small communities like in Camp Hill, where my office is, we're not defined by how many Starbucks we have on Market Street. We're defined like the charm and the, investment in a small community is defined by our small businesses. So in downtown Camp Hill, we have over 50% are women-owned small businesses.
Wow.
And I would say even in Pennsylvania, clearly with the three of us, it's a good place to put down roots. We should be doing an even better job in PA by saying, hey, come here and start a business. If you're a female, we have opportunities. We'll surround you and help you thrive. I go out of my way to shop small because I know they're the ones who are supporting our little leagues. They're supporting, every school event we have out there. How many times, have you ladies been requested, support Salvation Army Shoe Strut? We do that endlessly. So it's not the big corporations there. You have to go all the way up the chain to get permission to do that. And here, I'm so impressed by all the small businesses that pour not only their services, but their resources into making sure it's a better, healthier community to live in.
Right. Certainly. Yeah. I know there's some facts that I was looking at earlier. Total women-owned businesses in Pennsylvania, 415,500. That's out of 1.1 million throughout Pennsylvania. So that's pretty good. It's getting closer to the half-point mark, the 500,000 mark. And then the percentage of Pennsylvania's small-owned businesses is 39.4%. So it is certainly part of our economy and part of what's helping out. We're heading to 30 minutes here, so we're going to start wrapping things up. But as we close, Pamela, is there anything that you want to add, either advice failures, successes, anything that you want to leave us with.
Open-ended.
Okay, yeah. How many minutes do I have left? Okay.
Right.
I think as women, I think that we want to nurture and partner and develop and create and sustain. And in my business, when I started, it was never my goal to be the largest or the biggest staffing service in central Pennsylvania, but my goal was to be the best at the service that I provide, at the partnering that I can do with my companies. And I really feel that we're able to do that because of the relationships that we develop. It wasn't about getting in, making money, and getting out. It was about partnering. It was about a relationship. And I think when you, again, Ann had touched on this, when you're in sales, no one is going to buy anything from you unless they like you.
Yeah.
But how do they like you without knowing you? They don't. So you develop a relationship, a partnership, and it kind of grows from there. So I'm happy to say that in 28 years, I have a lot of the clients that I started with that I'm still working with. And I think that's a testament to what we do and that relationship driven, just that's our whole attitude about things. So, and I know that Monica and Ann feel the same way about that. And we all learn from each other when as women. Yeah. And those are the things that women bring to the table that I think are different than men, not in a bad way, not in a good, but it's different. It is a different thing.
And if people want to connect with Signature Staffing or you, what's the best way to do so?
Right. They can get onto our website, signaturestaffing.net. They can call our office. They can walk in. We are here. We love to see people in person, not on the screen. We want you to come and see us. So we are here 5 days a week from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, right on Market Street, where we've been for 28 years. So come and see us.
Perfect. Pamela, thank you. Okay, Monica, tell us a little bit, your business nugget for us today.
Wow, I have so many that I'd love to share with you, but I think the biggest nugget is really you are part of a community when you start a business, and being a part of a community means more than just getting services or giving services to other folks within the community. It means being a part of that community in all kinds of ways. So serving on boards, being connected to the local nonprofits and the work that they're doing, and supporting one another. So one of the things that that really drives me in my business is really the ability to improve communities, and it starts at home. It starts in our own community. I'm fortunate enough to work globally, and certainly all around the country, and supporting communities, helping organizations to build up their communities. It's just so great when I can do it in my own. So just start at home, start local, and get involved, because people that see your passion and see how great you are in terms of what you can provide, they're going to utilize your services. So start here. Great. I think that's the best thing I can share for today.
Well, and service gives you purpose too towards others. I feel like it really gives your life more purpose when that happens. And I remember meeting each of you at the Grit and Gravitas podcast Christmas party last December. So when Ann and I were chatting about doing this little roundtable, I was like, I know these ladies, even though it was brief, I remember your faces, and that's just part of it. And this was a passion of yours starting out when you emailed me. So tell me a little bit about, and you have your own podcast with your business vitamins and everything like that with Grit and Gravitas, but what is it that you would say to anyone wanting to start out? Because it can be very scary.
Oh, totally. And I ended up, for my journey, wrote a book called Women in High Gear, because I couldn't find all the resources that I wanted to at the time when I started. But I think it's chapter 8 in there that I have to reread 100 times, is on emotional resilience. And I have still not mastered it, but you really need a thick outer shell when you're starting any business, any small business owner. But I think an extra shell, 2 shells for women business owners, and just understanding, you're going to have some naysayers. You're going to have criticisms from people, both internally, maybe employees, maybe clients, maybe the community. And you just have to, have almost tunnel vision. Like, you know what your passion is more than anyone else, and stay the course. The Ford CEO told me one time, he's not looking at Chevrolet and GM. He's focused on his. And I I internalize that. Like, I can't worry about what everyone else is doing. We have to focus on what your mission and your vision is. And I think the other tip would be say yes to the hard things. Like, if somebody reaches out to you and says, you know, Monica, Pamela, I'd love you to start this initiative. Internally, you're thinking that's what I need, one more non-billable initiative. But honestly, doing that, you're serving the community, you're stretching yourself, and you're in a leadership position where others see you and say, oh, you know, I didn't realize Anne could bring, you know, these types of people to the table. I didn't realize that was a quality or a service that she offered. So sometimes we want to stay in our comfort zone.
Right.
Is, you know, COVID taught us a lot of lessons. We can do a lot of hard things that we didn't think we would. But I think saying yes, and then bring someone along with you. I know Pamela and Monica both have, but when a young person reaches out and asks us to have coffee, 100% of the time I have coffee. Does it fit into our schedule? Is there return on investment? I'm not sure, but I was that one person, you know,
Right.
many times I had never met, just did a cold request on LinkedIn, you know, would you meet me for coffee? Every single one said yes. And I carry that on. So I, you know, every time we take a step up, bring someone along with you.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Monica, I forgot to ask how people can get in contact with you with Strategic Consulting Partners.
Sure. Through our website, www.yourstrategicconsultant.com.
Okay, perfect. And Anne, how about you? What's the best way to contact you?
Well, quick Google search or ChatGPT search, you'll find us easily, but DieterGallagherGroup.com and all the social channels.
Perfect. Thank you all for joining us today, for being
Thank
part of
you.
this conversation.
Pleasure.
We are going to have more on this tonight at our 5 and 6 o'clock newscast on CBS 21. You can also find it on the CBS 21 Facebook page, YouTube page, and there will be an article today on CBS21.com as well. So I appreciate you all showing up to the table and sharing your insight with us, your encouragement for anybody who's interested, who wanted to learn more about why businesses fail and how to persevere during those times when you can't feel like you're going, but you still do. And congratulations to all of you on your successful businesses too.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.